Hello, YouTube creator community. How is everyone today? Welcome. Stop scrolling. Take a nice deep breath. Are you feeling completely drained by the energy of the world lately? If you've been feeling like you need to be a bit of a hermit or hiding away because everyone else's drama and their energy feels a little much for you, then you're in the right place. We're going to get into this a little bit today. You're not crazy. The energies are heavy, and we do want to make sure that we are protected, okay, in these energies that are floating around. So today, the moon is transitioning from being in Libra. We just had the full moon in Libra into Scorpio, and we're going to use the High Priestess archetype to help stop the burnout, right? And lift some of that heaviness so that you can reclaim your inner peace. Let's get this energy back now. Okay. I'm just making sure I have sound. If anyone has joined, please drop a hello in the chat. I had a few messages from Karen because she was looking ahead and looking up the full moon in Scorpio and what it means for Scorpios, okay? And that is a great practice to do. You can look up how these different transits affect your own sign. You can even pull up your transit chart. So for Scorpio, she's recognizing a somewhat painful reckoning. Oh, yeah. Because when Scorpio is moving in the world, they move deeply. They're carrying all that depth with them. It could be also a reset to your purpose. And maybe all's well that ends well, but it's been a rough week. Yeah, I've been feeling it. Let me know in the comments if you're here, if you've been feeling kind of, the active energies. And in the Northern Hemisphere, we've got springing, but also feeling those heavier energies, like you're really feeling the contrast. Let me know. Karen is mentioning some insomnia. That could be the case for some people, and then kind of leaving you feeling exhausted, or maybe getting a lot of hours of sleep but waking up tired. I know that's happened to a few of you. That's okay. Karen says, I've been missing some of your videos and the ones in between, but whenever I tune in, I do my journaling and look forward to getting on track today. Yeah, I understand that. It is, it's hard to keep up with everything, and I try to really arrange the channel in a way that you can pick back up whenever you're ready, right? It's not something where you have to have a bunch of prerequisite information. You can just drop in and you can just start creating, right? You could just come on in and start creating with us. So Ashley's here. Hello, Jason. Karen. All right, good. Got some of our core creators in here for sure. But yeah, I don't want my channel to be like, I want it to be available, and I want it to be something that helps people week to week, but not something that adds like, oh, I got to do another thing. I got to add another thing to my list, That's something I've been working on too, with operating more from like my feminine flow rather than, must have a strict schedule. So let me know if that resonates, because our world isn't, very gracious with that, is it? I need a big drink of water. How about you guys? Woo. So I just want to welcome everyone, anyone who is new, who would really like to hang out in the creators corner here of the universe in YouTube. We would love to have you join the creator community. We have some really amazing live events here on the channel, and Frequency Friday is one of my cornerstones. So I'm here every Friday at 10 a.m. Central to communicate with the community. Now, I do have a pinned comment up there that these are community and collaborative and collective readings, but we engage in the chat. So do be sure to say hi if you want to drop your astrological sign in there. that would be great. But if you come back on Sunday night, this Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. Central here on the channel, I'll be live doing live Q&A. So that's free mini readings, okay? It's one question or theme per person. You come on that event, you drop your question in the chat. I recommend if you really are really desiring a reading, try to come closer to the 7 p.m. hour Central Time, 7 p.m. because it fills up pretty quick. So come back to the channel, make sure you're subscribed. It's a subscribers event, okay? So it's for all those people who are watching and leaving comments, and it's my way of gifting back to the community. So the live Q&A will be this Sunday, April 5th, 7 to 8 p.m. Central. There'll be another one again. It's every 2 weeks on the 19th of April. So mark your calendars for those. Central Time here, coming to you from the Midwest. Where's everybody else from? Let me know. Let me know where you're coming from in the chat if you'd like. And Ashley's feeling the vibes. Yeah, it's hitting home with you as well. Yeah. So I've been talking about the heavy energies lately, and also like the active energies. So, and feeling the contrast, like feeling the difference, like some of you feeling good about your ideas and maybe your creativity, and maybe you're really on fire with something with this Aries season and the fire horse year, but then also kind of having this heaviness being present in the reality field at the same time. I Vibe Solo is from Indianapolis. Okay, so not too far. I'm in Kansas City, not too far from where we are here at Creators on the Crest. Okay, so shall we start talking today? Okay, the astrology, and there's always like astrology going on, right? And all these different angles and things that you could look at, but today we're going to focus on that moon energy, and in particular today, like as we go through this live, the actual timing of the moon moving from the sign of Libra, which it was in for the full moon, which we just had on the 1st or 2nd, depending where you were, right? We're now in a waning gibbous phase, and it's transitioning into Scorpio. So Scorpio is no stranger to the heavier, deeper, darker energies, right? And, you know, I think Leo usually gets the praise for being the courage and bravery sign, but I think Scorpio too. If any of you have any Scorpio, my nose is starting to itch and run. That's always the energies pick up. I start to notice in my nose. The Scorpio energies also just their ability to traverse, you know, the mystery and the depths, right? Is very powerful, and to me very brave and courageous. So looking in your chart too, where you might have the Scorpio energy, where you might have that 8th house energy that goes along with the Scorpio sign, and that will reveal to you, you know, where you might feel more of the depths, feel more of the heaviness. Karen says, we have stuck to a very nourishing diet. Great, good job. Since before Lent, and I really haven't seen enough improvement that I was hoping for. Yeah. Daniel, hello. Happy Good Friday to you as well. Yeah, Karen, you know, what I'm kind of finding, and it does also go along with some of the astrology, but is that with kind of where we've come from, like, you know, we had the Capricorn energies, now we've got like the Saturn Neptune conjunction in Aries. We still have Saturn in there, and Saturn kind of says, slow down the chariot, slow down the horses. And oh my gosh, my nose is itching. How many Scorpios do I have on here? Slow down the chariot. Let's make sure you are implementing the things that you've learned up until now, okay? Up until now, let's make sure that before you go, before you really feel the momentum, before you really feel the difference, whether it's exercise or new diet, where you're keeping things really clean and all of that. That's really like, going slower, because we're really setting up these habits and these new patterns, these healthier ways of being, in a way that they're going to last. So what I'm seeing, this is in my own energy and in people like you, Karen, who are sharing or talking about this, is that it seems to be taking a little bit longer, and the results are a bit slower coming, but they will come after the resilient dedication to whatever your goal is. Okay, so I'm noticing the same, because for me it's been like, I've got my water intake going pretty good. I was kind of slacking on that last year. I've got that back up to speed. I've got an exercise schedule, but yes, like I'm like, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, with the exercise schedule I'm on now, I would have been like dropping 30, 40 pounds. And now it's like, oh, you get like 1 pound. And then like, next month, oh, maybe 3 pounds, like it's kind of that type of energy. But it's also about the energy game. So are you noticing like improvements, like just with a cleaner diet, in your, ability to handle the ups and downs? A cleaner diet can really help with that, stepping away from the other toxic things, like toxic habits. Even if you're cutting out stuff like Coca-Cola, we were just talking about that, Jason and I, this morning. Sorry, my nose is itching. You guys have a lot of energy moving. It's always my nose. We're talking about, that really, like, things like that high fructose corn syrup should be banned. Like, why does that exist? Like, it's so unhealthy, but yet people are so addicted to it, they wouldn't know what to do without it. And even though there's other options and everything like that, right? I mean, I went through times in my life. I remember back in my 20s, I had like a year or two of like, me and my friends are just like drinking Diet Coke, like it was water, like, I remember I had one of my mentors was like addicted to that Diet Snapple, and so it's not to judge anyone. We've all been there. We've all, like, the marketing might have got to us on something somewhere along the way, and we've all gone through, those phases. So what I'm saying is just give it, minimum the 21 days. Give it minimum the 2 months, even, like, really get in and know that Saturn is trying to get these things concreted in your experience, right? Karen says, here in the last few days, and I'm getting froggy here, so we're clearing. Here in the last few days, I have joint pain, which is super random. Yes, I have that. I have random, what feels like carpal tunnel as well, and joint pain. Ladies of a certain age in the perimenopausal atmosphere, that can very much happen. That can very much happen. So that could be something that pops up sporadically as well. Everyone's a little different, so you'll have to see, do you notice like a pattern to it, or does something help it, like stretching, or do you have like a joint salve, or increasing collagen maybe? Water routine, good. Yes, adding a lot, increase in protein. I find that's really good for me too. Like less carbs and more protein, almost like no carbs, like is really good for me. And sticking to high doses of protein. I also do a lot of fasting, like day to day, like I guess you would call it intermittent, but I try to go from like a certain time at night, the night before. And there's been some days this last week, I didn't eat anything until like 2 p.m. And that's what was working for me and my metabolism. Karen says a couple of days, I felt good for like an hour or something, but only like 2 hours after nearly 2 months of very good health choices, getting better and better, more discipline. Yes. Same, Ashley, you're having some of these same experiences. Yeah. Not to mention, like, we are gonna talk about, you know, people who are sensitive today, people who are in tune, people who know what's going on. Some of you might label that as, you know, empathic, highly sensitive, empathic. But we're gonna use the High Priestess this week as like our helper, okay? To be able to help us. And she's really connected in with the moon. You can see the moon symbolism in the card here and here. Okay. And the moon going into Scorpio really takes us in the depths. Okay. The depths and the darkness, which one pillar is dark, one is light, white. So we've got the black and white pillars, and she sits in the center. So her thing is she's found like a balance point here. So that's why I thought it'd be really interesting to really dive into the energies of this moon in Scorpio, right? There's other things going on, okay? There's like Mercury is trining Jupiter. Some of you might be really getting some good ideas, some sparky sparks and things like that. Venus is squaring something, I can't remember right now. So relationships could be a little bit strained here and there over this weekend. But I really wanted to focus on the moon energy. Now, on Wednesday, I just put out a really short, like 7.5 minute video covering the High Priestess. So if you haven't checked that out yet, be sure to check it out. It's like just a little presentation style where you can look and we talk about more about the High Priestess, go a little bit deeper into her persona, into her characteristics. And then, of course, many of you know, in the description below, I do have a link to the Archetypal Activation audio library that I'm creating. It now has meditations for the Fool, the Magician, and the High Priestess. Kind of like experiential, and they're 5 minutes, so they're easily doable. You can work with them, each one at a different time. You can work with one for a week and see how it goes. They're just little meditative experiences. And it's, you know, yes, there's visualization, but there's also somatics involved where you're actually working to embody the archetypes. So, and really, like, you're all the archetypes, just like you're all the signs and you're all the houses, you're all the archetypes, right? You have aspects of yourself, because we're multidimensional, of all the archetypes, all the astrology signs, right? So you learn more and more about yourself. And that's the goal of this activation library. So it's a living library, just so everybody knows. It will have all 22 major arcana archetypal cards. I'm going to go through the cards, and every Wednesday on YouTube, I'll post a video about it, and then I'll add an audio activation into the library until it's full. Okay, so it's not full yet, but I have it available at a founder's price, a really reasonable price if you're interested. And all you have to do is pop your ear pods in, or, you know, have a seat before you go to bed, lay down, start relaxing, and listen to one of the audios. And of course, the more you do it, the more you connect with that energy. So this week is the High Priestess. We're highlighting her. So that's why I really wanted to focus on the moon. I do want to give everybody a couple of crystal helpers. You know, I like to sometimes say what might be helpful to you. So for those of you who do enjoy working with crystals, and there might be some oils coming in here. There might be some oils coming in here. I'm sensing like the, those of you that use like essential oils, blue tansy is coming up, and it's probably from all the blue. I know it's a very light blue, and blue tansy can be a little bit more vibrant, even a little purpley sometimes. And I'm also seeing German chamomile for those of you who like working with oils. So if that's your thing, those two are coming up, blue tansy and German chamomile. Now I'm actually, I have an allergy. I have an allergy to chamomile, so I can really only handle it in very, very, very small doses. Sadly, it's like milk thistle, chamomile, calendula, all of those things are in this Asteraceae flower family, and I can't have any of them. It makes me sad, but you know, I don't want to get itchy and uncomfortable, right? two crystals have come up that I want to share. And I think one of them, it's very obvious how it's connected to the High Priestess, the blue lace agate. Find your calm. So here's what blue lace agate might look like. If you have a piece of blue lace agate, I think it'd be really nice to carry on your person for a little while here while the moon is in Scorpio. I think it's going to help soften some of the energies. You can see the beautiful flow-like striations in the stone itself. It's gentle, it takes the edge off, it's got a softness to it that can really help, especially for any of you who are going to be in what I want to say is like hyper competitive or challenging situations this week. Okay, I think the blue lace agate's really going to help you, like the High Priestess, find that balance point. Okay. All right, I'm going to read a few comments here before we go to the next crystal. Karen says, like my discipline for 2 months has been extra, probably extreme, and not much results. Yes, yes. And, you know, I could also say maybe it's that you're finding the balance. As long as you're excited about the extremes that you're going to and you have momentum toward it, that's great. But if it gets to be that kind of like draining extreme, right? That's where you want to kind of come back into this, let me find that center point energy like the High Priestess. Let me come in between the dynamics here and see if I can find my calm, right? With that blue lace agate, find your calm. Maybe something will be revealed to you. I'm also, having talked to a lot of people lately, there's also this element of like something is right there. Like the High Priestess sits in front of a veil. And I think some of you are really sensing that veil energy and you know what's on the other side, but it's like you just can't get through it for some reason, or like you're going through it, but it's so slow, right? It feels so slow. And I think that's bumping up against the Aries season here where we feel the push. And, you know, we got a lot of planets that are going to land in Aries. Like a lot of them are going to be all conjunct in Aries really soon. So April is going to light up. It could be that after this heavier Scorpio full moon passes, we might start to feel the pickup a little bit. I think a lot's going to be coming in for people that they've been waiting on. So things you've been waiting on, like you're saying, Karen, okay, I've done this discipline. Like where's the cash back? Where's the payoff, you know, in this? I will take whatever the High Priestess has to offer. And blue tansy, yeah, I'm not as familiar with the oils. I know enough to be dangerous, but that's very interesting that it is a balanced blend. It kind of just popped in like to my awareness. So maybe that would be helpful for some. The other stone coming up here is labradorite. So we have another stone. It's got the blue, but a little bit darker. This was kind of coming out from the Scorpio energy. And I think the reason that it's coming out, this card says, see the magic, is that we're really going to, when we deep dive over these next few days, when the moon is in Scorpio, before it moves on, we're really going to be feeling those depths. So I have, I'm really liking the pillars. I have labradorite here. You know, the High Priestess, she has like pillars. So if you've got a little pyramid tower, or, you know, like something like that, maybe have that out. So I've got my labradorite here. I didn't have time to grab my blue lace agate, but I'll probably be carrying that one around on my person. So those might be just some helpful helpers, right? Those are our helpers. We still have to do the work. We're still the ones that have to go through all these energies, but those can be really, really great helpers for us on the way. All right. Okay. So today we're talking about stopping the burnout. And we live like, so first let's acknowledge that it's a very difficult world to not feel burnt out in right now, right? Because the effects field that we're all swimming in, all of these energies that bombard us and are getting presented to us, right, are very, very, well, they can be quite toxic. They can be quite confusing. They can be quite exhausting, right? And then what happens is not only that, but what I was really sensing is that the need to make sure that you're very careful about who you're hanging around, because what people are doing is they're getting swept up in these toxic and confusing and de-evolutionary energies, because that's what's on offer. And the programs that are buried in there, right, we're in Scorpio, so we're looking at this, the programs in there are buried deep and they're very sophisticated. Now, to those of you who've kind of like woken up to all this, those of you who get called the conspiracy theorists and whatnot, right? Like you kind of get that rap, but you're sensing something. You're very intuitive and you're sensing something. It's because you found this balance point. Now, it might be hard to hold this balance point all the time, but you found it. And once you see what's going on, you can't unsee it, right? So there's all these ins and outs and all these things. And then there's people caught up in those. So you could feel like even if you have to go to the workplace or you're out and about, like just, and you pass by someone, you can feel this, right? You can feel like the energy is trapped, Even in some, when I go to like my exercise classes and I listen to the conversations of people going on around me, and I'm thinking, well, no wonder you need to like burn off the, because you keep consuming so much of what's going on in the effects field. So what the High Priestess helps us with is finding that balanced authority that is centered within us and connected to the heart. She has, it's kind of like, I always say it with her, it's like the equilateral cross here, but X marks the spot on the heart. The heart is the great transmuter. So she's reconnected to that energy. She's connected to the intellectual aspects of things. Like her conscious mind has collected information. But also, and there's more clearing coming up, which is good. I'm glad the clearing is coming up. But she also has lived experience, okay? So that's what makes her have this authority and not even have it, but embody it. And that's our goal. Our goal is to be like the High Priestess in the sense that we're embodying our inner authority and we're embodying our lived intuition. So our oracle reading today that we're going to get into is how to quiet that noise and really be in that center point. This is embodied guardian wisdom, okay? Because at the end of the day, we're aware of things and we have the ability to not only create our way out of this, okay? We've got to create our way out of this. We can't fight our way out of this. We can't battle, Yes, it's spiritual warfare going on, but when you get in your creative energies and you're in that flow, you're untouchable. And that is she is not, her weapon is wisdom. Okay, it's embodied wisdom. She doesn't need to wield a sword, an axe, anything. Okay, she's just embodied wisdom, and that is where we want to go with it. So our oracle reading today, we're going to pull some messages. I've got 5 different oracle decks here, and we're going to get messages that are going to help us embody this guardian wisdom for ourselves. Now, some of you on top of that, you have kids, so you're teaching them how to protect and guard their own. Okay. You can hear me now? You can hear now? I still can't hear. Oh, I'm back? Now I'm back? Let me refresh. Hang on. Let me make sure on my end. You guys can hear me now? Oh my gosh. Okay, that is so annoying. There it is. Yeah, I'm back. Saying it's so annoying. Okay. This is what happens when I'm in a rush to get ready. And this morning just got a little carried away from me and I was a little late getting going. And I did not get, I have to put very specific settings on my phone since I'm doing a vertical live. There's very specific settings that have to be set, and I have to remind my kid's dad not to try to call me during it because a call comes in and it completely ruins the audio. Sometimes it freezes the thing, and then when it clicks, when the call clicks off or they hang up, it like doesn't come back for, you know, I mean, you guys just saw how long. So if I don't put like a special sleep setting, and it is on sleep, but I don't have everything exactly. I usually turn off Bluetooth, and I did that while I was silent. So hopefully there'll be no more trouble. All right. But anyway, I guess if something was going to glitch, it's good it did it before we really got into the oracle reading. And really all the stuff that was silent was me going, oh, you can't hear me, blah, blah, blah. You know, so we're okay. Thanks for sticking by. AM, thank you for checking and, you know, letting me know, you guys, in the comments. Yeah, I did not accidentally mute. That just happens. Like if I don't get those settings right, silence completely where it like blocks them from, like it'll just put in like straight to voicemail. When they call, it'll be like, okay, like her phone is off. If I don't get that just right, man. Whew, and I didn't today, but that's okay. All right, from the Impasse Oracle, and I really am liking this card. First of all, I'm liking the blue. It's kind of reminding me of that labradorite stone, like the blue and the labradorite stone. We got number 15, or 1 + 5 is 6, for those of you who really do look at the numerology of things. 6 to me is a number of success, achievement. We may not feel like it's ultimate achievement, ultimate goals, you know, achieved, but definitely like success to do with a milestone. And this card says practicing daily spirituality, okay? Practicing daily spirituality. Ooh, look at this card. It's got, oh, to me, like I just see the calm, the wisdom, and it's like a calm, beautiful communication. Blue is a color of communication. What do you all see in this? Like, I love these cards because they're so abstract. Let me read some of your comments too. Yes, AM, it's a complicated protocol, but it works when I remember to do it correctly. Yeah, it was crazy timing. And Karen, you said that, like you said, a mechanic or something you had to deal with. The universe pressed pause for Karen. Yeah. The worst is when others say, oh, I don't have a problem. You mean like on their end, like they don't handle it? Like, I know I've got a problem when you guys tell me there's a problem. Oh, thanks, Ashley. I try to handle it with as much grace as possible, you know, but yeah, part of me inside is like, you know, why is this happening? Ah. I'm not going to lie. That's going on down in there somewhere. Yes, it does look like the labradorite, or maybe some opalescent colors here. Yeah. Like that beautiful opal stone. Love it. Love it. I love it. I got you, AM. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's just one of those things that I think anyone who goes live has to deal with. But I'm really loving this card. Okay, so it says practicing daily spirituality. That's exactly, you know, even when Karen was bringing up like, okay, we've got these new daily routines that we're implementing. This is I would say an acknowledgement. The 1 + 5 = 6. Like, you will be successful. It's kind of like, stick with it. Try to find your center in it. Try not to like spiral into frustration, right? Come back. Like, one of the things I like to say to myself when stuff is going on or I'm not seeing the results that I think I want to see is, I just say to myself, you know, everything is working out for me. Everything is working for my highest and best good. I may not always see what the clear path is, but the universe knows what it is, and the universe has my back. God, universe, source, whatever works for you, right? Everything is working out for me. Everything is working out for my highest and best good. My dreams are already in motion and the universe is bringing them to me. So you just have to sometimes remind yourself when it seems like, man, I've been shifting those daily practices, but the results aren't there. Maybe there's timing issues that only the universe knows about, something greater, or greater beings even might know, right? It could be that our subconscious, the High Priestess, also very much connected to the subconscious realm. She's very good at diving in and pulling out that deep wisdom from the subconscious, as is the Scorpio energy. We can use that Scorpio energy with the moon, right? Because we're going into, the moon is about the unseen. We go in there and we're extracting the wisdom. Now, that's a pretty powerful thing. It's like shadow work surgery, right? So we got to give ourselves a chance. It's just that we have all these Aries energies in the fire horse year, like, let's go, you know, like pulling on us. And then we have the universe and Saturn saying, wait a minute, you got to do it the right way for the long haul, for the long-term effects. So I'll just hold this up one more time, try to get a really nice view of this without too much glare. It's so pretty. It kind of, to me, has also a very indigenous feel, kind of almost like, is she wearing a headdress made of light? He, she, it's hard to tell. To me, it kind of has a feminine feel to it, but I'm all up in the High Priestess energy this week, so that could be it too. Routines and rituals, yes. And totally a spiritual commitment, yes, absolutely. And, you know, Karen, I think you're really on to something, because the world is definitely changing. No matter where you live, what country you live in, the world is definitely, I just had like a deja vu for a moment there. It just came right in. So I think we're bending timelines here. No matter where you are, you can feel these energies. You can feel the effects. It might affect some of us differently, but like, I know these energies, as we exit the like Kali Yuga cycle, and we're seeing all the breakdown, you know, it can get pretty messy. So the commitment, this is spiritual commitment too in the High Priestess, okay? There's a High Priest as well, which we'll talk about. That's card number 5. We get to go to the Empress next. We're going to the Empress. We're going to the Garden of Eden, so that's going to be awesome. But we'll talk about authority again. But to me, this is, you know, this is the subconscious authority. It's the feminine flow authority of the High Priestess. Karen says, it's funny, the oils you picked, the blue, like, yes, that blue German chamomile, the blue tansy, the blue card, that must be why those are coming up, because they're all blue. And a friend ran a scan on me and a balanced oil blend came up as necessary. And I haven't added that to my routine yet, but it has both oils. That's awesome. Yes. Yes. See, this is what I mean when you tune in, even though this is a collective experience, there may be little gems and pearls that are more aligned with something that's affecting you practically and spiritually. So when you tune in, I'm tuning into your greater being, right? And I'm going to pick up on some of y'all. And, you know, Karen, you also today, you put messages in the live chat before it started. You put some of your reflections. So I think that kind of anchored your energy right into me catching on to it, you know? And here's another thing. A friend shared a song today called Even God Sings the Blues. Yeah. Yeah. AM, you love the labradorite? Yes. And it's like, you don't, like when you hold this up at first, like until you move it in the light, it kind of just looks like a shadowy stone. You're like, what's so special? And then you turn it and you catch the light on that, you know, and you start to see those colors come out. This picture's a little more vibrant, you know, but I really like working with this one because I really have to like look for that sheen to come through. And it really kind of connects me with like the value of like how these pearls are hidden in our subconscious, unconscious energies. And the more we do this kind of work, the more we talk about it and share tips with each other, the more we allow ourselves to open into these energies, the deeper we go. And the more we can extract from ourselves, our own inner authority, then the more ways we can embody it. And that's why I'm building the library, the somatic activation library as well. And this color will be used in decorating this year a lot. That's interesting too. Like for interior decor, it's like one of the colors yeah, because they always have like this year's, you know, colors, what's popular. They're calling it malachite, which is interesting because in the crystal world, there's that green malachite. But I also saw, I'm going to pull one more stone out here that when I was getting out the labradorite and the blue lace agate, there was another one. Okay, so this here, azurite. Does anybody, I mean, to me, it looks like it's from another planet. And it says, get laser focused. It has the malachite green and it has the azure, the blue, azurite. So it's like a combination of azure or something like that. I have a piece, but it's up in the window, so I don't want to go grab it. But that might be yet another, since you mentioned the malachite. Yeah. Azurite and green and blue. Yeah. Okay, so the next card, let's check it out. You typed that before I pulled it. Was that azurite? Is green and blue? Yeah. That one popped out too to me. So if you have a piece of that, I almost want to go get my piece out of the windowsill, or maybe it's over there. I have my crystals kind of, you know, in one location, and then kind of a little catalog of crystals. But yeah, I'll have to pull it out later. It's a bigger one that I can kind of hold in my hand like this. So it's kind of like a good altar stone. You have a massive azurite. Yes. Well, that one may be up maybe up too. So from Moonology, we did get Hold Your Vision, and we got Fixed Moon. Now, here's what the card looks like. So we've got more of the purpley blues here, more of the indigo colors kind of coming. But during this time where we're like, okay, we're feeling the creativity, we're feeling the action, the ideas are coming, but we also feel the heaviness. We're being reminded to hold the vision, like the High Priestess holds the position and she sits. You have to pass through the High Priestess to get through the veil to the Garden of Eden where the Empress sits. And so hold your vision, hold your position, hold your dreams, hold your creative ventures. Yeah, tansy blue. Yeah. Yeah, and the German chamomile oil that I've seen has even like when you before you drop her into something where it dissolves, it's pretty dark like that. Hold your vision. Now, Scorpio, this says fixed moon. Scorpio also is a fixed sign. So we could really use that to our advantage to really like come back to center by remembering what our vision is. Like Karen, you know, your vision of your family, their long-term health. You're eating better. You're preparing highly nutritious meals. You know, your dedication to that is something that I'm thinking of as I'm sharing this. Maybe some of others of you have an example. The azurite. Yes. I think you're talking about the stone azurite, AM, when you were asking about it being kind of like hard. Yeah, it's like heavy and hard. Not like amber or something, like a softer stone. But I don't know, maybe you were talking about something else. I don't know. Sometimes I read the comments after, and if I don't catch the exact like thing I was saying at the time, I apologize. Trying to keep up with all the energies. And we have, I'm seeing 88 on the people and the thumbs up. Thank you for the thumbs up, everybody. That helps. That helps. All the love. All the love. We're going to go to the animal spirit next. I thought it'd be fun. There's no animals pictured in the High Priestess card like there are in some other cards, but oh man, the animals were calling. So let's see what we get. This is the, what is this called? The Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. I haven't pulled this out in a while. So let's see what wants to come through here. Oh, yep, we got the bee. We got the bee. And now look at this. Like I'm getting definitely like self-esteem, self-confidence. And the inner circle here is that blue color. And then we go to the vibrancy of the yellow throughout. I can't help but really feel like I know bees are about production and productive energy, but also I can't help but feel this has to do with what you're sharing. You know how the bees like carry the pollen, and they carry it place to place, and they help with the beneficial plants, and they help keep harmful insects at bay. And this is what I'm feeling in our energies. So it's less of a like, I've got to be productive, I've got to go do stuff. I really feel like we are being productive. We are doing things. We might be moving in different ways, and we might be learning to be patient and trust the universe for the results. But to me, this feels like the energy of bees where things get spread around. Okay. I'm not really, I'm seeing the bee go back to the hive, but I'm really feeling it like being in a flower, extracting the nectar, the pollen. You know, pollen gets stuck and then they fly to another, and then they help the flowers and the beneficial plants like propagate, right? Watercolor energy is coming through. Tansy blue color, watercolor, which I'm really working on. I saw the first bee this week. Yes, this is coming through. And it's coming through very much in like what we're spreading around. And I love how, you know, we have the blue color in the center because it represents that we've really locked into that today as our creator community is really feeling that. That's the wisdom that we're pulling from the depths. Now, the bee just naturally does its thing, right? It just does its thing. But look, as it does its thing, how many, it's like the ripple in the pond. It's like radiating its little, even the wings, zzz, you know, like the butterfly effect, right? Is really coming up here. What we're sharing and what we're choosing to spread around is really coming up as the message here. It's like spreading around that wisdom, you know, just by being ourselves. Being, no pun intended, being. Just from going to place, embodying this wisdom of the High Priestess. I'm really getting for the next 7 days, I think for the creator community that's listening, whether you're live or on the replay, really pay attention to how people respond to you, okay? Even if you're just in the grocery store, I think it's going to be real interesting to see if you can see some of your subtle energies, how they might impact people, okay, around you. And I'm seeing people have actual like notice like Like maybe you turn down an aisle in the grocery store and somebody literally like looks at you and goes the other way. Like, can't handle that. Can't handle that energy. Or maybe a child gravitates to you and just starts talking to you like, oh, you know how kids do. Really watch for that this week as you're out and about, especially because it feels like you'll be able to tell what your vibrational frequency is. It's almost like kind of like you're learning echolocation for your energies, which is really interesting. I kind of just got a whale vibe as well. I picked up Whispers of the Ocean. There's probably a whale card in here somewhere, but I'm kind of getting like your echolocation energies are going to be really like profound to you. AM already does that. I do that already. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. It's very interesting. It's kind of like your own spiritual social experiment when you just go out and about, right? How people respond. Okay, here, this one wants to come out. We didn't get a whale, but that's okay because this is a beautiful card. It's number 47. Could be an age for someone. 4 plus 7 is 11. So we have a master number as well. And it says connect to source. Go within, which is what the High Priestess is very good at, to discover what needs to be done. Create the shift required to attract what you want. And I think that some of you are already doing that. You're creating the shift within to attract what you want. But not only that, but you're sending that signal as a possibility out into the collective, which is desperately in need of that right now. And those who can be in this timeline, this frequency with you will gravitate towards you. So that's why I said for the next 7 days, really pay attention to that. That feels important. And it's, attracting in, what you want. Things are working out for you. I really like the balance I'm feeling. And I think this is about you showing up in the world, because it feels like you are bringing like a great amount of wisdom from the inside out to share with others. And that while it is about manifesting, what you want, like the results you want from from eating nourishing foods continually, me going to my exercise classes, right? That is happening. We're already connected to that version of ourself. But what feels really good to me about what I'm reading in the energies here is that it's also expanding out and offering others. So there's like a in-service kind of vibe, expanding out, like just looking at these creatures, the unraveling, the unfolding, expanding out to help others just by being, and just by taking those actions toward bettering your life, toward evolving yourself, you're having a beneficial impact. You're having a beneficial impact. So don't underestimate even the most subtle energies that you carry related to the decisions that you're making for your highest and best are having an impact on the collective, which the world is in desperate need of that. So I love that. I love that energy. Nothing about what I'm reading here today feels at all selfish. It feels very aligned. It feels very potent, and it feels like it is having an effect. Now, are we going to see the results in the effects field tomorrow? On the greater scale, probably not. Things are going to continue to break down and be chaotic. But if you watch your energy in relations to others this week, as you go out and about, just really try to recognize you're at the coffee shop, you drop the kids off somewhere. Who do you bump into? Does someone come right up and start talking to you out of nowhere? Like, oh, hi, Do you bump into anybody that you haven't seen in a while? Does someone call you or reach out to you? Be really aware of these energies this week, because that's the confirmation. You may not see it on the global scale yet, but you'll see it in your own personal life. So with that, we're going to close off with a starseed oracle. The starseed energy came up really powerfully last Friday. And last Friday was really busy. On the live, it was great. We had some new people. So if you're new, welcome, welcome. We're happy to add you to the creators community. And also, the starseed energy was so potent. So I want to continue that. And what's nice about the card we're getting here is my whole reading's been focused a little bit on the feminine energies and the feminine flow. We got star brothers. Okay, so now we have the masculine energy coming in. The same thing kind of happened in the astrotarology reading that I did for this week on Monday. It was like feminine, 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 masculine. And I can't help but feel like that the masculine is responding to these energies, that maybe the feminine is balancing out now. And it says here, Horus energy. So we go back to, we have an Egyptian call out there. Protection, I love that, because I think it's so important for us to protect ourselves and protect others and protect what's valuable. The High Priestess speaks to that. The masculine energy, the Horus energy is coming up and saying that. Loyalty, safety, and trust. And if I'm not mistaken, the Horus energy there is represented, is that a falcon? I believe it's a falcon. With that Horus energy. Star Brothers. I'm really loving that coming up because it feels like it's very strong. It's very steady. Let me hold it up so you could see if you have the chat going, see the words here: loyalty, safety, trust, protection. I love that, and when we kind of live in a world where the pendulum swings to the masculine and the feminine, it's nice to have the balance. It's nice to have that balanced perspective. So we welcome that. So there's the tips this week for, you got crystals, you got oils, you got the bee, you're connecting to source, you're holding your vision for quieting the noise and really embodying this guardian wisdom. Okay? Beautiful. Love it. I love what we got. It was a mix of different things. The blue colors, you guys know the colors came up, and work with those as you see fit. Now we're going to go into next, let me move things around a little, 3 different tarot breakout readings today. Last Frequency Friday, we did readings for all 12 signs. You can check those out. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, rising, and north node. The timestamps are in the description for last Friday, Frequency Friday, if you'd like to get, those sign readings. Some of you were here for that. It was great fun. All right. See you Sunday, AM. Okay. Thank you for being here. Hope you have a wonderful weekend and a great rest of your day today. All right. We'll get in here to the tarot, if I can find my notes here. This is another thing. So I love writing. So usually I have a clipboard. I write out, a bunch of stuff because it really solidifies it. But things have just been happening a little different this week. So this time I have, I have it in my computer here. I'm not going to say I love it because I really do enjoy writing things down, but I'm referencing my computer here where I have the notes. So the first reading is going to be the boundary of the veil. So in the High Priestess, we're still holding the energy of the High Priestess in our readings today. She sits in front of a veil with pomegranates, yummy, yummy superfood, and palm trees. And that beautiful veil is the entrance, at least this is my interpretation of the tarot, to the Garden of Eden where the Empress sits. So it is something worth protecting. Ladies and gentlemen, this is womb energy, creational energy from the Empress, fertility, okay? So the High Priestess understands the value and the sanctity of that. So that is why when I did the presentation for the High Priestess, I said authority and guardian wisdom, because that is exactly what she represents. I mean, she is not someone who's going to let you pass through. If you're holding on to hate and violence, you're not allowed to enter the garden, okay? She is the guardian. So let's talk about, how do we do that? How do we set up protection for ourselves in our own energies that help with this, right? Before we can help protect children and the rest of the world, we also have to have our own protection set up. And I'm so thirsty all of a sudden. Have some of you felt a little unprotected lately? Or maybe you noticed something where you felt like something was like trying to get to you. I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit of something needs to come out and be released here. So the Scorpio moon, we're moving it, you know, we had the full moon in Libra, so we connected with that balance, and the center point is now moving into Scorpio. Scorpio, it has emotional intensity to it, right? And so it can feel like at times like a psychic invasion, or maybe you're a little more sensitive to those energies right now. Has anyone ever been around someone who has like leaky energy of some kind? It could be like leaky sexual energy, or just they just leak or leach out kind of a dark energy. I think you're a lot more prone to recognize this right now, to recognize this energy. Karen says, oh, you're talking to AM. Yes, we'll be back on Sunday evening, 7 to 8 p.m. Central for our live Q&A. Yes, personal, one-on-one, one on the creator community, actually, readings, because it's such a supportive community. But you get your private question answered. Main struggle, not feeling protected, not really feeling that energy of trust or safety, and kind of desiring that star brother energy to kind of rise up with you, right? And help. It's interesting because I haven't taken a deep dive exploration into the Egyptian gods and goddesses, and it is on my list. Like, I would love to go there and see the pyramids and experience the energy. I think for a little while that was kind of like the posh thing to do. I saw a lot of like Instagram model people like going to the pyramids, but for me it's like I sense a lot of like darkness from that era too. So I mean, I just don't go there. I don't want to just get ignited by whatever. So I haven't quite felt that yet. Lately, for me, it's been Australia and New Zealand have been coming up as like calling to me, but I know some of you have your places. But has anyone been to Egypt? Let me know if you've been there. I'll get there. I'll get there in my studies, but I haven't studied like Horus energy really too deeply. All right. The Scorpio moon energy. You could feel like there's psychic invasion. This reading that I'm doing, that I'm pulling the cards for, it's going to show us where we might be leaking energy, or where we have to be careful about other people's drama. And so we want to get into that. We want to anchor our own energies, our light. We want to anchor that within. And we could even look at this like, all these energies are going out. When energies are going out, they have the potential to come in. But if our light is shining, it may just kind of, I feel like energy's coming in and they just kind of dissolve in a wall of your light. So it's about bringing out your own light and not absorbing, right, what other people's leaky energy or even global things, leaky fear porn energy is going on here. Okay. And I just got like a wave of like warmth too. Hawaii, yes, for Ashley. Because we always say aloha. Whew. So it just got really warm. All right, so here's what I see. I see a progression here in the cards like I usually do for, you know, really having our protection and really being able to sit in the energy of we're protecting ourselves, ourselves. We are extremely valuable, but we're also protecting the virtues of creativity and fertility and the womb space, right? We're really connecting in with that energy of the High Priestess and how her energy is going to move into the Empress next week, which I will cover. The first thing that comes up is the sense of betrayal. Okay, we got the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is feeling betrayed, feeling abandoned, feeling left out, feeling like you're not good enough. These kinds of darker energies that have the tendency to slip in. They're real, right? They're real. They're informing us. We don't want to bypass when we feel like this. And we want to do our best to communicate that, which you're going to see in the next card. But we're also not going to waste our voice on ears that cannot hear it, right? So when it comes to your protection, your safety, and trusting, what I'm already sensing in this reading is that it's so important who you are in conversation with. And I think some of us have been really clearing that up within ourselves. Over the past 6 months to 12 months, I think have been times where relationships, whether it's family, friendships, everything is kind of reformatting. And some people just aren't meant to come along with you. This could also represent, in the progression that I'm seeing, which I'll show you the other cards, this could also represent that you're finally closing the chapter on a relationship or having closure with a person that you experienced these energies with. Could also, the inner child has been popping up a lot lately as well. It could also be childhood trauma, like even just getting left out on the playground or something, you know, or being picked last during, you know, some sport or something. So, you know, we feel that, and it doesn't feel good to feel it, right? But we feel our way through it and we create our way out of it. Feel like I was betrayed and left vulnerable, not in the good connotation of vulnerable. Yeah, exposed and almost like like danger, right? So the thing I love about this particular depiction of the card is that the key is here to open the door, but she is processing. It's so important to process. Now, what happens some of the time here, be aware of this in your environment, is that instead people will be carrying these emotions of betrayal, abandonment, and instead of processing them and sitting with them and really going within and extracting the greater wisdom, they are projecting it into the reality field. Some of them may feel so threatened by the effects field and their experiences and the pain that they might have to tune into so that they can recover from that they will end up projecting that out. So you all know what I'm talking about. You all have had experiences where someone's done that to you. And what it means is just the value of us taking the time to process now, before we communicate, right? Process it out a little because you do not want to project it, especially onto people you love and care about. Karen says, I was I was, sorry, not recently. I was literally under attack, not recently, a verbal attack, but still pretty intense. And I'm still working through the people I depend on not being there or stepping up. I feel that. And I think we're going to let that be okay. We're going to let that be something that you're still extracting the deeper wisdom from, right? Yeah. The Five of Pentacles acknowledges that experience. And if you're anything like me, like I am one who I will go away and shut down for a bit. Not everybody's like me, but I know some people will just like, if they're in an attack, they'll just fight right back. But I'm more of the like, I'll flight or like fawn away for a while. That's kind of what I do. I'm getting better. I found my voice much more strongly in something happened when I turned 50, and now I'm like unapologetically me with it all, but I've struggled with that. And so, but I am someone who, when something happens, when something goes down, I need to retract and make sure my shields and my protections are up before I respond. I need to process, because otherwise you're going to get a version of me that is less than savory. Okay. And that's that Cancerian energy. If you force me out of the shell, okay, I've got a knife. Just let me let you know that I've got a knife, and if you force me out of the shell, I will use it, okay? And I'm talking energetically. But if you give me a little time, but also making sure I don't shut down, forget to come back around and communicate. That's something I've done. I go for my processing, and then I just kind of stay away from the topic and don't come back to readdress it, right? So I stay fawned away from it. But let me know. We're all a little different. Some of us have that anxious energy. Some of us carry the more avoidant energy. And it's just about knowing yourself. It's a big hurdle to trust people. Yeah. Like, it's like the desire's there to open up, but you don't desire to get hurt and betrayed and feel like no one has your back, right? And resentment. Oh, yes, Karen, you bring up resentment. Trying not to toss friendships over it and find a way to not be resentful. Yeah, and that's kind of that fine line situational thing, isn't it? Where sometimes things can be resolved, sometimes they can't, and it is time to move on. There's been a lot of energies this year of like changing and like, and not, not in a bad way necessarily even. It can be in a way that, you know what, I'm just really creating down this type of path, and that other person is creating down another path. Or maybe we were just too enmeshed. There's all kinds of ways this could have looked for everyone. But yeah, let me know. Whoever's still on, let us know, like, how has this played out for you? What kind of energies have you noticed and do you carry when it comes to these feelings of being betrayed, abandoned, or not stood up for, left out? That's the kind of vibe that that this reading is talking about, like, and protecting your field. Now, the ideal thing would be to see that thing coming, right? Here's the red flags. And believe me, you can go out on social media and there's everybody telling you all the red flags in the world, right? But somehow we still is like, well, I wish I would have known that, right? Hindsight is 2020. We still somehow end up going through these experiences on some level. And I don't think there's probably any human that escapes it completely. It's part of being human, and it's part of growing and evolving and working through it. Now, what I love to see here, and she kind of gives me like a High Priestess energy as well. We got the Queen of Swords, which I really love to see here. Karen sharing that she believes the Achilles for Scorpio is that once you feel betrayed, it's hard to forgive or feel warmth for whomever that caused it or was involved. I'm a Cancer and I feel that way too. And Cancers tend to, they will go to the edge of the cliff with you, but if you try to toss them, they're done with you. Like and when I say done, there's people in my life, it's like I went all the way to the edge with them. And then it's like, okay, this isn't going to happen. And it's me or you. I choose me. You know, you're not tossing me over the edge and, oh, you don't exist. And sometimes it's like, you know, you don't exist for a while because Cancers have put the shell up. But I have been able to, in my later years, come to a resolution with people. And just in hindsight, when there's enough distance, I can have gratitude for the experience. So, but it is difficult, like to, and do you, I guess, do you need to feel warmth? Do you need to feel warmth? Is it, you know, are you expecting something of yourself? And maybe you're not, but can you let go with a gratitude, even if, you know, it was something that was so difficult, you know? I don't know, like if I'm looking at a situation and I'm thinking about you, Karen, and like I'm thinking about someone betraying you, and I'm a Cancer, so I'm super protective and I don't like my friends and people that I vibe with getting, you know, betrayed or like attacked. I wouldn't expect you to feel like warmth toward them. Maybe you're not supposed to. Maybe you will get to a place where you can release it all with gratitude. The Queen of Swords is not the warmest. It's not the warmest energy. She can be a little bit on the cold side, but she has these beautiful qualities of being determined, of knowing who she is. She knows who she is. She knows what she wants. She's probably not going to waste her words and energy and warmth on someone who does not deserve it. And she's also not going to be cutting either, unless she needs to be. She holds the sword, but it's tempered. She's holding it back. She will use it if she needs to, but she's considering, do I expend my energy? Right? Do I expend my energy? Robert, are you a Capricorn? Yeah, put your analogy of putting a finger into a power socket to get more energy. Yeah, no. It's yes, Capricorn. Okay. Capricorn has had a bit of a rough go. One of my other moderators, she's not on today, Kimberly, she's a Capricorn, and it has been a rough. I would say for Capricorn, it's been a longer rough than other people. I do think Capricorns will have the tendency, and it all depends on your placement and what else is going on in your chart, but I think you'll have the tendency to start coming out of the hardships that you've been experiencing. And make no mistake, Capricorn has been experiencing this, okay? But remembering the Capricorn energies, you carry the earth magic, which is a beautiful magic to carry, okay? Now, you'll see, like, there's Capricorns, like, I have a family member who's Capricorn. And so what did he do? He was in landscaping. He literally moved the earth, right? He literally like did things with the earth, right? It's earth magic. That was one of the jobs that he worked, and he can certainly grind better than anyone. Yes. But for Capricorn, I think it's been, even though you're good at that, you're the workers and you can do it, like it's been a bit of a like, wait a minute. I'm expending all this energy and I'm moving mountains here, and like nothing's coming back, you know? Nothing's coming back. So it might be a little tough. Lasagna from the Goddess Key is here. Oh my goodness, y'all. If you have not checked out the Goddess Key here on YouTube. She's on TikTok. Oh my gosh, I am so glad you swung by because your work is amazing. I know she has a really great Substack. I just got your newsletter on the on money and the perspective on money. I thought it was brilliant. Oh my goodness. You know, check her out. Yes. Please, please. The person on the card is deep in thought. That's right, with that Queen of Swords. Robert, very, very reflective. You're the goat and you sit in the field and chomps away while the world goes by. Yeah, yeah. And I think you're getting ready. This is what I see astrologically for Capricorn energies is that there's more joy coming. There's more laughter. I think that's going to help break up some of the toughness that's, you know, the grind energies that you've been feeling. The Eeyore, the donkey. Yeah, I mean, because it can really like get you down. Now, I think that in the Chinese New Year, next February is, I believe it's a goat year and it's yin energy. It's a yin goat. Right now we're in a yang horse, fire horse. It's a yin goat. And I can't remember the element off the top of my head. Maybe somebody knows. Yes. Yes, yes. Yes, please do check out Lasagna, the Goddess Key. She also has, I haven't got it yet, but I need to. She has a beautiful deck that she created, an Arcana deck, and it's just vibrant and like goes through. I mean, I can't wait to get that. I'll have to get that so I can use it in one of the readings here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We finally got recognized by a yin yang. Yeah. So hang tight, Capricorn. I think, you know, your earth magic and some actual reward, some relief is going to come your way this year. You've come out of major cycles, like the cardinal signs just came out of a major cycle. Now it's like the fixed signs going through it. So hang tight on that. Now, what's neat in this reading is we're talking about protecting our field. We're talking about not only our field, we have to do that first, right? We protect our energies, but also what we're guarding on behalf of the world, on behalf of society, on behalf of the timeline, the organic timeline that we are preserving, protecting, and where we're creating energy, okay? We're protecting that. And we're protecting the energies of opening the heart. And in this Nine of Cups energy, this is very different depiction of this card. D, hello D, Sagittarius, and a husband to be a Leo. Ooh, we got a lot of fire going on there. It's your fire horse year. Are you getting married this year? You'll have to let us know. All right, so for the Nine of Cups here, what I love about this particular depiction is that in the traditional tarot, the character sits with like the arms crossed over the heart. There's still like an element of protection. This card screams to me, an open heart is your greatest protection. It puts out that frequency. Remember in the oracle message, we got the bee and that beautiful yellow energy. We're the ones carrying like the beautiful nourishing pollen around and spreading it so other flowers can grow. A lot of you are healers and coaches. All right. Yeah, this is spreading the wisdom, the emotional energies of what you've learned. And while the moon here is in Scorpio, this might feel a little like, ooh, I'm not ready to do that yet. But that's okay. Here in a few more days, when it passes on, right, the moon will keep moving. It's come from Libra to Scorpio, then it goes into Sagittarius. And then maybe you'll feel this heart spark come online. It kind of it might sound counterintuitive that an open heart is your best protection, but a heart opens and grows when it's healed, when the energies are healed. So if you are able to open your heart, it brings great emotional fulfillment, and it's emotional fulfillment that you can share. Yeah, I love this too. I love this too. All right, so we have the progression. We are processing. This is the hard stuff, the betrayals, the abandonments, the feeling left out. We are processing it. We know we have the key to unlock the door. We have the key, but we're not going to bypass those emotions. We move from that energy and the processing of that into resilience, mental resilience, conscious resilience of the Queen of Swords. She knows who she is. She knows what she wants. She will use the sword with precision and when she needs to. All right? She's pausing. She's thinking. She will communicate from an open heart. And it will feel good. It will feel good. Girl Gone, hello, hello. Yes, yes, yes. So awesome to have you here. You always drop in when you're meant to. You catch the message that you're meant to. Resilience is the opposite or antidote of vulnerability. Love that. Yes, I love that. Yeah. So as far as our protection goes, because we're talking about protecting our fields, we know we're having an impact, although we may not see it reflected back to us in the effects field right now. We've talked about at the beginning of the live about we're having to wait for some of these results to be reflected back, and we're learning to trust in these energies, right? And that's going to segue us here into the next breakout tarot reading. I feel complete with that one. So we're going to set that aside. And our next one is trusting the unknown, especially to do with how it's going to unfold. Our mind loves to tell stories, our conscious mind, it loves to make up things. Ooh, it's going to be this way and this would be great. And we start to get a picture of how things are going to go without allowing the universe to maybe bring in something better. So how do you trust and open up into not knowing how things are going to go? And one of the ways I've, found to do this is that connecting with that version of yourself, and this happens more on the subconscious, unconscious level, but connecting more with the version of yourself that already is there or already has that, right? And it can be very sensory for you. For example, like Ashley is manifesting going to Hawaii. So what does she do now to connect with that future version of herself that really goes to that land that she knows she has a connection to, that her heart is calling her to? Well, she might just treat herself to a little bit of, mango juice, a little mango juice spritzer, some tropical juices. She might get a hibiscus plant, right? And put it at her place or in her space. Those are the little kinds of things to connect in with those energies. Because that way you don't really need to focus on the how. If you focus on the how, your conscious mind starts, going places, and then the universe is coming in maybe with an easier path or something better. And you're like, oops, too focused on this, right? Got my head down. Girl Gone says, yep, definitely. It's funny because I just pulled 2 cards today that said, just wait and be patient, that things are opening for me. And that even though I can't see it, there is protection. Yes. Yes. Karen Savoy, hello. Yes, welcome. I do remember you. Hello, hello. Good to have you back. So yes, Lasagna, thank you for asking. So today in Frequency Friday, we do collective energies in the community chat. So these breakout tarot readings are for the community. But this Sunday night, I do 1 question or theme per person. It'll be Sunday, 7 to 8 p.m. Central here on the channel. I do live Q&A, and I do that every other Sunday night for 1 power hour. I get in, people come in, they drop their message or question in the chat, or they just ask for their highest and best message. And I do free little mini readings for everyone that are personalized. Now, when we talk in the chat on Frequency Friday, what tends to happen is, you know, maybe we'll talk about a sign's energy, or we'll get into, I'll respond to people. And what happens is in the readings, sometimes people get those personal messages that they're looking for, because even though it's intended to be collective, it really is me using my greater being energies, connecting in with the greater beings of the people watching live or on the replay. So I want to say the likelihood of me picking up more on y'all's energies than just anyone else out there, right, is higher. So sometimes these can feel more personal, or their themes or things that, like Girl Gone said, she's recognized some consistencies in the energies I'm talking about versus what she has also experienced. That can happen as well. What sign were you, Karen? I think she got to your sign last week after you left. Yes, I might have. Yes, last Frequency Friday, I did readings for all 12 signs. And I always love to encourage everyone to watch at minimum, watch your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising, and your north node. And that's kind of like your 4 pillars. And that'll give you really good insight there. So, but yeah, Karen, Karen Savoy, we just do kind of general questions here. So personal questions, if you could reserve those for 7 to 8 p.m. on Sunday. This Sunday is coming up. If you can join, try to drop in close to the 7 p.m. hour and drop your personal question in there. And Karen Keener says, Girl Gone, I think that waiting, being patient for the results of your faithful spiritual practices are still coming. Yes, that has been a theme today. My thoughts on Uranus moving into Gemini. You know, the word I get, the word I get is sparky. I get sparky. All right, it gets really sparky. However, I think it's going to be very positive, okay, in the sense that, and it may not feel that way at first. I realize Uranus can kind of have this tower moment breakdown kind of energy. But I think it's going to have a positive impact on the sense that, especially with those people who are living under the belief of illusion and the lies, there's an opportunity for that to be broken down, for the truth to be shown with this energy. But we know people have really powerful cognitive dissonance going on there, and some people will, you know, die on that sword. To me, it's very much swords energy. It's very much an opportunity to have some of the detrimental conscious constructs broken up so that we can see the truth. For creator community, I really think it's an opportunity to break through that wedge between the conscious and subconscious. So people who've been doing the work, who are more, you know, you've been doing energetic work, you've been doing shadow work, you're more aligned, you have an awareness of what's going on, you can see through the veils of illusion. I think you could use this Uranus and Gemini to your advantage to really pierce through your own personal subconscious veil. I've been feeling this coming because my dreams have gotten more prophetic and more like real. I had a very, very lucid dream about my friend's dog and his cat recently. So, you know, it's going to come up differently for different people. You might pick up on something more socially. You might pick up something more personally, but I had not talked to this friend for a minute, and a border collie came to me in my dream and talked to me telepathically, told me to follow it. And I followed it to a tent, and I pulled back the door to the tent. My friend's dog Tyson was there, and I was like, Tyson, what's going on? Then Tyson started talking to me, the dog, telepathically. I was like Dr. Doolittle stuff going on, right? And then there was a cat next to him in the tent, but I was really focused on him because I was kind of surprised to see him. And he said he was kind of laying down. He didn't get up, but he's like, I really want to play with my Frisbee. And so when I woke up, I remembered this dream. I text my friend, who quickly put the crying emoji on there and said that Tyson is facing some debilitating health issues, and also that his cat, they think has cancer. So, you know, I think that's the kind of thing. So it's not always like super positive. Sometimes we're going to pick up, but I think we're going to pick up more and more for the creator community, this Uranus and Gemini. I think it's really going to go into that subconscious, unconscious realm where we can get past that conscious wedge for ourselves, which some of you have already done that, you know, but it's going to be even deeper, I think, or even more profound, I guess. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. I think that's a really good question, Lasagna, and I'd love to hear what anyone else thinks too about it. Maybe there's other like ways that you all would have experienced that, or the Uranus and Gemini energies you might already be feeling. I tend to feel the transits before they hit, and then of course if they're going to affect like a personal planet or something in my chart, I feel it even more. I'm usually running about 4 to 5 days ahead of, you know, when a transit changes. Sometimes more, it depends. This is very interesting, this next reading we got, because I was talking about trusting the unknown how. There's some real big, powerful, major arcana energies coming in. And the first one, it really does kind of, excuse me, I'm having energies come up and arise. Big changes in communication and local travel. Yeah, absolutely. Gemini energies. Absolutely. I agree with that. We usually have a Gemini on here too. We usually have Tressa on here. She's a Gemini. Sonia's a Gemini. Ashley, are you you're a Gemini too? I think. I try to keep everybody straight, but it's hard sometimes. I lose track sometimes, or I mix up names sometimes and can't remember their sign. Okay, so when we go into this energy, we're talking about the unknown how. It's like how things are going to unfold. And we're asking, you know, we've got our pillars of the High Priestess here. We're asking the High Priestess energies, her wisdom to help us with this, right? We're embodying it ourselves. This is where we look at the energies of the conscious mind that second guess ourselves, right? Especially with energies where we think will be perceived differently, or it's unusual, or it has a certain flair or spice or quirkiness to it, okay? And stepping into our truth and our vision anyway. And it's really interesting because the Queen of Swords came up with the protective reading, and protecting our field, and the value of protecting our energy, of using our swords wisely, using our voice, our communication wisely. And in this reading, the King of Swords comes up. The King of Swords comes up, and to me, this feels like more of like a clarion call from the universe. Look at this king. What I like about him as well is he also is tempering the sword. He's not focused on wielding it, on having a lot of control over it, controlling. Remember, our minds like to tell stories. We like consciously want to kind of try to control the whole path to get to what we want. But oftentimes that doesn't allow us the vision or the foresight that we need. And then in this card are all these winged creatures representing, you know, the ability to have a higher perspective, things that can fly, can look down from another angle and see something that we can't. And it looks like he's kind of calling these birds and this energy of all these winged creatures to him, and allowing himself to receive the messages that they bring. The raven is often seen as a messenger that flies out and brings back messages about what's going on. And I really think this is about allowing the energies to inform us. So instead of us trying to figure out, how am I gonna, whatever it is you're trying to do, how am I going to see the results of these healthy meals I'm eating? When am I going to lose the 10 pounds from this exercise I've been doing, right? And we get like, but if we just keep showing up, we don't try to control it, we have all these creatures just coming to us. And the creatures represent the universal energies. God, universe, source, Gus. I've heard people call it Gus lately. I'm like, okay, Gus, whatever works. Whatever works, those represent the energies we allow to come to us, which the king, who is the master of the swords, of his thoughts and his communications, is allowing to happen. Feathers are a symbol here. They're coming up twice in another card here as well. And the air energy. Maybe that your Uranus and Gemini will have an opportunity, will give us an opportunity to communicate about things differently, to communicate about how we're relinquishing control or overthinking or over-focus on how we think things should go, right? Versus like, okay, like this is where I want to be, you know, Ashley envisioning herself in Hawaii. And let me just have a sensorial experience, and how that happens, where the finances come from, the resources come from, I'm going to leave that up to the universe. And that will take a lot of stress off the shoulders here. Now, we are being told, which we have already in this reading, that we have to wait for it. And I'll show you the card here. King of Swords represents what again at the core? Communication. So top level, high level communication abilities, intellectual, okay? This is connected to the sign of Gemini as well. Thoughts and words are aligned. And also the mastery to know when to let the universe respond to you, okay? And I'm also reading it with this other card, which is why I say that. We got the Temperance card. This is the patience to wait for the big things to come through. All right, this is tempering those energies, tempering the light, the sun in one hand, the moon in the other, the darkness. You'll see that in this Temperance card, this character has the transparent wings behind. Again, there's that air energy of the universe, of our spiritual natures, reflecting out into the universe, and that what you need to know will come back to you. Give it time. You're doing things differently now. And I think that's another thing, and why some of you are really sensing, why is this taking so long? It's because you've completely closed out a previous cycle, okay? Now, last year, for those of you that have been following, remember we were in that liminal in-between phase for a long time where there was endings and new beginnings overlapping at the same time. Now I feel the shift in the cycles, and this is happening astrologically as well as within, so without, where we are more into the new. Like we've established, like here, and you're saying your family's really been focused on the nutritious meal planning. But you're like, I'm not sensing the results because you're grounding this in for the long term. So you're not seeing the results yet, but they're coming. And the depth to which you're establishing this, the same way for me in my in my exercise practice, because just to be very transparent with everyone, I have struggled with my weight all my life, up and down. And you might say, oh, you look fine, but like, you know, everybody has their own personal connection to where they're at and their body, and their body speaks to them, right? And this year when I started, well, first of all, what happened is my kid's dad actually just got the family membership. He re-upped the family membership at the Y. And then he told me, oh, I re-upped the membership. You're on there. You can use it anytime you want. And the good thing about the Y is you can go to any of the Ys. And we have like 3 or 4 of them here in Kansas City. So that just like, there was a part of me that wanted to get healthy, but that's not how I thought it was going to go. Right. In my mind, I'm like, I gotta try to run, which I can't do anymore because it kills my joints because I get joint pain. Right. I was focused on these other things, and all of a sudden that was done. And they offer all these classes for all age levels. There's pools there. I can swim, right, which is easy on my joints. There's all kinds of stuff, right? I could do the weight training when I want. I could do the thing. So that kind of happened. And now, like, I started, like, even though it was available to me, I didn't have to use it, but I decided, oh, wow, this resource just fell in my lap. Thank you for that. And here we go. Like, and I'm just going to go to the gym. I take my kids and we do the things, you know, and we have a good time. And so, but I'm establishing this as a lifestyle. And I think the same thing with some of you, you're establishing lifestyle. And these are things you're establishing where you're not gonna, you know, how I talked about my weight going up, I'm not gonna dip back and forth again. There's this back and forth thing that we've all done before. And I'm just using health as an example. You have other examples in your own personal life, I'm sure, relationships, whatever it is. We're not bouncing back and forth. We're establishing things for the long term. And with that Saturn energy, it says to us, hey, you're doing this for the long haul. So all along the way, we're course correcting, and I'm making little corrections here, and you're going to keep to it, and you're going to, you know, have the discipline, you're going to have the resilience, and the payoff is coming, but it's more of an established payoff because it's for the longer term. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, the subtle energies have been coming up a lot. Absolutely. Like how children respond to you, making sure that you're aware over, especially it felt like the next 7 days, making sure like as you go out and about, see how people's energy responds to yours, especially your subtle energies. The goddess key, yes, I agree, in the process of surrender, and this will allow a great connection with our intuition and spirit. Yeah, and that is what brings us into that centered place of wisdom, of guardian wisdom, and allows us to hold our positions as spiritual entrepreneurs, as artists, as creators. You know, really working to live our best lives here and to make a difference and help others, help support others in the reality field that we have to swim in. All right, so temperance, long-term, dedicated energies here, all right? And then next up, another major arcana card, the Magician. This is representing the magic. This is where the magic happens. This is our connection to the magic. And when I really like this depiction as well. This is the Light Seers Tarot. I do like how they depict some of these characters slightly different from the traditional. This magician is very focused, okay? Very focused, very engaged in this process. It's not just like taking a magic wand and going whoosh, and like it all happens. This magician is seated, connected, grounded, and working with the cosmic energies in a very, what's pictured here to look like a very shamanic way, bringing together heaven and earth. I almost do see like the figure 8, you know, kind of coming around. And it's also the infinity symbol above the magician's head. It's about the cycles, but in here, this magician really feels like in the butterfly pose, yep, like the energies are being established. I often talk about the magician in a very different way than a lot of people who read tarot, because they'll say, oh, it's manifestation. And it is, yes, but I also feel the magician is the number 1 card. The High Priestess is number 2, and the Fool is 0. And the Fool to me is the incarnation. That's when we like drop in, we take the leap as a soul, you know, to grow our existence. We come in and we drop in, and then boom, the magician, like all of a sudden, here's all these elements. The magician has not gone through the entire journey. So the first pass through the magician, you're kind of learning the elements, earth, air, fire, water, right? But as we cycle through, we come back. And this magician to me is a more mature magician. This is one who's going to spend time. There's no quick fix here. There's no quick, like, we're not casting low-level magic spells here. That's not what this magician is doing. This is high planetary magic being shown here. And you can't do that. I'm sorry, you cannot do that if you have not centered and been acknowledged as ready to pass through the veil that she protects. So we have cycles with this. And what's beautiful about this magician is I do see him as the more grounded, like he's been through the cycle a few times of these archetypes, of these archetypal energies. And now he is able to connect to that high planetary magic where it is bringing the best of the soul, the spirit, into the world, no matter what the effects field looks like. Okay? Yeah, grounding feet into feet and closing a circuit. Oh, yes, I love that. Closing that circuit and grounding with that that core, that root core into the earth. And then doing the magic from there. So, you know, it's that proper shamanic energy. This magician is not in a rush. This magician, it's not really shown. Like in the traditional magician card, you see the pentacle, the sword, the wand, and the cup sitting on the table. Here, those don't even need to be pictured. They're being experienced. This is, he already possesses those elemental tools. They're coming from within him or her here, right? And that's the way we work with the energy. And that takes experience, wisdom, and it takes trust. We can't do that if we're too anxious about something happening and it happening right now, and I need that, you know, that hyper overthinking energy. Like, what's it going to be? Tell me right now. We get this sometimes. No offense to anybody who comes and asks questions. I love doing readings for everybody, but there are energies where people come in and they're just desperate for an answer. There's no trust in them. There's other people I do readings for. I feel the element of trust in them, and then they receive the wisdom through the messages. That's, you know, you can sense this. For those of you that do readings, you know, with other people, you know what I'm talking about. We have to be able to quiet that desperation and that monkey mind. And we're got to go deeper because we're talking about embodying this. And that's why I've built the archetypal audio library, Living Library. So the link's in the description if anyone wants to check that out. It's growing as we speak, but I really love, and I'm doing all the experiences that I'm putting in that library. I am also doing myself as well. So I am also going through them as an experiencer as well as having created them. So check that out if that's something you like to listen to. Goes back to the infinity and the spiral. Yes, and I like to, when I think about the infinity symbol, I like to think of it as having integrity in a closed circuit, but also being multidimensional, where it begins to move into other dimensions. And I really believe for some of you, that's what's happening. You're at that place in evolution, and maybe you can't be a breatharian yet, okay? I need like 100 grams of protein a day minimum, okay? I can't be a breatharian yet or anything like that. But I do believe there's evolution happening for the people who've really been doing the work, and that we are anchoring in a brand new cycle that's going to take us on this new evolutionary path. And then sharing that out. For people who have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, we're communicating that out with our subtle energies. That's why some of you, that happened to me, that children will just come up to you and like start asking questions, start talking to you, talk your head off because they sense that. Oh my goodness, I just threw the cards. They sense that energy. All right. So we're going to go next into our third and final breakout reading today, Emotional Alchemy. So for those of you who've been kind of feeling like you're under like that heavy energy, that heaviness that I talked about at the beginning, you know, our goal is to kind of go through this live and feel a little lighter when we come out on the other end of it, feeling like we can trust more, taking some of the burdens off the shoulders, right? We're going to go into how to use the power of this Scorpio moon. So while the moon is in Scorpio, to transform. Scorpio can feel deep and heavy, but it also has probably one of the grandest transformative powers of any sign. So basically, you want to know where you have this energy in your chart, because that's kind of how it's going to express. It's Scorpio or 8th house energy. And we got a couple days here to maximize this here before it moves on. So let's have a look here. How are we going to get out of this like burnout energy here? And this like, I'm just over it. I'm over this heaviness here. All right, we have a major arcana card that came up in the center here. And I think I'm going to kind of start with that card. It is the Strength card. Those of you who carry Leo energy, it's the number 8. And in this picture, we have a woman pictured half lion, half human, and the lion and the lamb are pictured here. Again, a unique representation of this major arcana card, different from the traditional where she is grasping the jaws, right, of the lion. Here, she is embodying the energy of the lion. And this has been, what it's reminding me of is, and I cannot ever remember this guy's name, but there's a Japanese artist who has painted animals like, you know, cougars and lions and jaguars and all these. And his method for inspiration was to embody the animal. And I really see that. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Be right back. I have this other account. I'll say, be right back. I had a call come in. I had to ignore again. Sorry about that. Okay. Can you hear me? Do I have sound? Let me make sure. Yeah, I got it. Okay, we're back. All right. Hopefully no more interruptions. But he embodied the animal for which he was going to be painting. He really got in the energy. And that's what I feel here. So the heaviness, this is going to take some strength. This is going to take a little bit of muscle, right? But we can also understand that we are strengthening ourselves with a gentleness, okay? This isn't about pulling the muscle and injuring yourself. Let's build the muscle, okay? Let's embody the strength of the lion, or whatever it is you need to embody, whether it's strength and courage, whether it's, you know, a different outlook on life, a different mindset. And look at her tattoo. There's that infinity sign again. And she's wearing a heart locket necklace. Leo is big-hearted energy. So through this transformation, we're meant to really love ourselves and be gentle with ourselves through this. Give ourselves some grace. Grace to me is, it reminds me, when I picture the energy of grace, it's like taking a lotus flower, and you know how the cameras can like fast forward a flower blooming? That's kind of how I see, like, it blooms, and then out of that is birthed another lotus and another lotus and another lotus and another lotus and another lotus. Okay, that to me is the energy of grace, where we're gifting ourselves the gentleness and also the strength, acknowledging our strength in the power of transformation, because that's what we're talking about here, is using this Scorpio energy. So one, we don't want to spiral down in heavy darkness, right? We're having the strength to face it, the courage to look at what we need to look at, but also a gentle enough energy to offer ourselves grace if we need to move around it and get a different perspective before we go into it, right? If we have a day where we're processing something, then let's gift ourselves a little extra water that day, or maybe grab our favorite treat. You know, we have Venus, Taurus right now. So maybe a little gift of reward when you accomplish something. Okay, so you're working toward your goals. I know I'm doing those exercise classes and thinking about, you know, the 20 pounds of meat I'm gonna want to eat after that. My lunch is my reward, my high protein lunch, whatever it is, right? That's what we're seeing here in transforming these energies. And so what we want is we transform that into fuel. Like, and that's what when I eat the protein, I'm transforming it into fuel. It kind of is an energy game right now, isn't it? It certainly feels that way. What's nice about the other energy I'm seeing here when it comes to transformation is we got the Ten of Swords, which is, that represents, you know, a completion, a closure. But in this particular depiction, she has listened to the value and to the depth of what that closure that she went to brought her. The birds, again, there's the birds, there's that air element. Lasagna had brought up the Uranus and Gemini coming up. There's a connection there. The air element, the higher perspective comes in, and she can walk away. She can walk away from things that previously she would not have walked away from. And that's a transformation. This is the versions of us, the aspects of us that had to be laid to rest, that had to go so that we can move forward. The ways that we stop ourselves, the ways that we play small, those have to go so we can go on our path. We don't have to overcomplicate things. We don't have to overthink things. We just have to let go of that version of ourselves and be willing to step into something new. Step into the sun. I'm also feeling like some of you may be able to really feel this, like the transformation that you're doing now. It's going to be felt and shown in your effects field in like July, August, when Jupiter moves into Leo. For some of you, that's when you'll feel like, okay, things are transformed. So there's that element of trust again, kind of coming up and saying, you may not see it and feel it all to the depth that you want to right now. The other beautiful card we have here with this is that part of this transformation is acts of love, acts of kindness coming from the heart with the Knight of Cups. There's the fire horse in the background, the leg up, taking action from the heart, okay? Planning the date, paying someone a compliment. And it's not putting niceties out there to be fake or just because, you know, the church told us to or whatever. That is not it. It's really feeling into your heart and feeling those genuine moments when you can take a loving action. Loving action can be toward you or someone else. And remember, there is a part of our brains that does not know the difference between giving and receiving. So when we see someone, like I remember the other day, my daughter and I were just out at Target, and I saw a girl with very long, like crystal gale, like long, beautiful hair. And I just said to her, "Oh my goodness." I said, "Your hair is absolutely gorgeous." And she was like, "Thank you," you know? And it was like I felt it. It's just the little things. So when you feel that, it's almost like you can't keep it in. When you're really connected with this energy and your heart wants to say or do something, you can't keep it in. You have to take action on that. All right? So that is what I feel. The beautiful acts of love coming from the heart space. And that is where we want to go with things. All right? Okay. So those are our 3 breakout readings today. And I just want to thank everyone who's new or swung by. If I haven't seen you in a while, thank you for dropping by again. I hope you can join us on Sunday night for our subscribers event. Free mini readings from 7 to 8 p.m. Central this Sunday night. 4/5, April 5th, okay? And then again on the 19th of April, every 2 weeks, okay? It's a power-packed hour, so if you really have that question, make sure you drop in early. All the ways to connect with me are in the description below. Make sure you check that out. You can see what I've got going on. You can visit my website. You can get on the newsletter. I've got some specials going for people who receive my newsletter right now. So you all just let me know if you're seeing that, and let me know when you show up on those other platforms. Lots of you, I'm connected on Instagram with you as well, or TikTok. So it's always good to see you guys out and about there doing your thing. All right, beautiful energies today. Thank you for going in the depths, and I hope we all get to make the best transformations possible during this Scorpio moon, and for all the energy that you've poured into watching this video, commenting, liking, and everything. I wish that it returns to you 1,000-fold. And I always say at the end, say it with me if you want, stay tuned, stay true, and keep creating. Thank you so much. See you next time.